Ah, this is sad. This is so sad. I'm sad. It's in my head. It's just me. Hey, please hit the like and subscribe. This is the D. Louise book series. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, nothing special going on here. Apparently I have horrible thumbnails and horrible everything, and you've probably clicked off by now. Could use some more subscribers. I don't know what it is. It must be a curse on little and me. Every time I get, even 2 subscribers, 3 unsub, I always end up in the negative category. I don't know what it is going on. I don't know what's wrong with me. You see all these videos out there. Why should I quit? I'm like, yeah. What do but I like reading. I like talking about books. I'm hoping you like my videos. Maybe not, but we're gonna keep trying. This is book 25 in the series. When I read this the first time, I kind of was sad and assuming that it was the last one, but I recently started to notice that there'll be a new one in 2025. So that gives me something to hope for. Because unlike my Eve Dallas books, where we've got 60 books, they're in character time. So they've only spanned about 3.5, 4 years in that time span. However, J.A. Jance has written the books over a 30, 40-year period of time, and that's how the characters have progressed over a 30 to 40-year period of time. So there's a time difference. And JP is 74 years old. And it worries me that it may be the end soon, and I don't want it to end. Yes, ma'am? I really like these books, but unfortunately, things happen. But I've really enjoyed these books tremendously, and especially the last one, Sins of the Father. You will have to check that out, and Proof of Life. It was really good. This is revisiting. Please check out Breach of Duty, book 14. This is revisiting Sue Danielson. Little JP was a homicide detective in the Seattle Police Department, and when Kramer, his nemesis, got promoted, he quit and he went to work for the Shit Squad for the Attorney General, and that worked out really well for a couple years, and then that was disbanded. And upon urging of his wife, JP became a private detective. So in the beginning of the book, we had a really sad ending. Well, it was a happy ending, sad ending for me in the last book, when the dog Lucy chose to go off with his new granddaughter to protect his new granddaughter, and it was kind of sad. But I mean, she was doing it for a good reason. The dog was in love with the kid. The dog would be there to protect the kid. So, but JP has gotten a new Irish Wolfhound, and so we're happy about that. He's got a new dog in his life, and he's revisiting. We catch up with him and learn what's going on with the characters and all that kind of stuff in the first chapter. And then Jared Danielson comes to see JP. Way back in Breach of Duty, Sue Danielson was JP's partner. Come here. There are 2 kinds of cats in this world. The one that wants to be held when you want to hold them will come to you when you want. Then there's the cat that wants to be held and played with on their terms when they want it. This is Mrs. They Want It. So JP was still a homicide detective way back when, and Sue Daniels was his latest partner after having a string of partners. Come here. A string of partners have sad, difficult endings. Well, not endings, but occurrences happen in their lives. Sue Daniels had 2 boys, Jared and Chris, and she was doing really good. She was okay as a single parent. She was having some behavioral problems with Jared, but she was dealing with them when all of a sudden her divorced ex-husband comes into their lives, returns to their lives, and kids being kids are so anxious about seeing their father in. And then it's discovered that he wants to take them to Disneyland and they want to go, but the mother says no because he wants to take them not on spring break. He wants to take them out of school. He, for some reasons, that will be later disclosed in breach of duty, he wants to take them the week before to Disney. And she's like, no, just wait a couple more days and you can go to Disney on the spring break. And there's an argument ensues and the kids get involved and they're really upset and mad and they're mad at the mother and it goes 6 ways to Sunday. And then it turns out that the father was into drugs, and he goes for extra details, you have to read the book, but he goes to the house and he was going to kidnap the kids or something, and he ends up shooting his wife, and JP comes in and saves the kids. Call JP, they escape out the window, they survive. JP arrives because he'd been with another thing, and he gets there just as Sue dies, and he tells her that her kids are fine and her ex-husband is deceased, and then she passes. And it's really hard, and it's a really difficult book. But you should really check it out if you want to know the whole story. So anyway, Jared had pursued a police career to follow in his mom's footsteps, and he went through the academy and he did all this stuff, and he was on patrol starting his first couple of cases. And one of the earlier cases was a welfare check, a domestic dispute. And he goes into the house and they're all dead. And he quits right there on the spot. There's no way in hell he's going to be able to handle something like that. It's straight out of his own past. He ends up going to school, and he goes to be a priest, and he's teaching now, I believe. And he comes to JP, and his grandmother is dying and would like to see Chris one more time before she passes. And Jared has been trying to find Chris and has been completely unsuccessful. So he hires JP, and JP tells him he'll do it for free. And what starts out as a very simple missing persons case turns into a very, very complex, very multi-layered homicide case. Several homicide cases. Several layered, difficult homicide cases. So JP goes to Alaska, where Chris was last seen, and it turns out that Chris had a child that was conceived before his death that he didn't know about. And he had a conflict with parents. He had been going through troubled experience with the new set of grandparents and the old set of grandparents, and his girlfriend was saying, hey, look, you need to examine this. And he realizes he was wrong. He wants to apologize. He wants to go home. And that's the last anybody ever saw of him. Everybody just thought he went home. So when he disappeared, nobody filed the missing persons. And it's been 30 years. And you're like, huh? He never showed up home. He never showed up anywhere. He disappeared that very day. So JP discovers that there were some bones found way back in 2006 that were left as a unidentified male because no one had ever filed the missing person, so the law enforcement had nothing to go on. And they are immediately discovered or revealed to be, after some further investigation and DNA, that the skeletal remains were of Chris. He has been dead since 2006. So then JP does some more investigating, and he uncovers multiple homicides, multiple levels of greed, and he meets a very interesting woman named Twink. She is very, very excellent in her driving and her support. Reminds me of a couple of people, but she does really good work with him. He must spend an easy 100,000 in this book, easy. But he's going to end up taking care of Jared and Jeremy, Chris's son. It's really it's really complicated, and we catch up on Elena and Naomi and Lucy from the other book, but and Mel spends most of the time, JP went alone. But it's a really good book, and you will have to check it out. How one simple missing persons case was able to reveal a very sophisticated fraud case on multiple levels, and also several other murders that were left undetermined in the past because the police didn't have the necessary information. Once they get this information, they open all these cases, and it's later proved through really good investigation by JP and Marvin Price and a few other people that they are able to determine that 4 people were murdered by a certain individual and additional fraud. And it's really complex. It's really multi-layered. And I was really sorry to see, when I finished this book the first time around, I was thinking that it was going to be the last book in the series. Everything had been kind of wrapped up in a nice neat little package. And, but I've since learned, like I said previously, that there'll be a book in 2025. So that's given me hope that the series will go on. So this is the end of JP for now. Please check it out. It's a really good book. And this was in large print for all you out there. But it was a really good book. I enjoyed it, and now I have to go finish J.D. Robb. We've got like 3 books or 2 books before the new one. I haven't opened it yet. I showed it previously. It's still in the box, and I want to open that box. So we'll be getting there in the next day or so. So please check it out. Nothing to Lose, J.P. Beaumont, revisiting the old Sue Danielson case. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Thank you.